Let's move on to main topic number 4. Kaylee, what is our fourth main topic today?
Fourth main topic comes from Dominic O. Good morning, guys. The Wakanda Forever reactions watch you guys did was way past my bedtime where I live, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I saw all the reactions from the movie are incredible. Almost every single reaction are calling it dark, serious, thrilling, but most importantly, emotionally powerful. What do you guys think about the reactions that came out, and what can you guess about the movie from them? Thanks.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Dominic O. And again, big thank you to everybody who joined Rob and I in the reaction watch last night. And again, I know some people sent in some super chats. They did not register last night, but we've got them and we will address those in just a little bit here on the show. Anyway, yeah, the reactions came in, and while I was not surprised to hear them, they were nonetheless very encouraging. I mean, everybody, the basic general message of it was emotional. I think that if you had to give one word to describe all the reactions that came out of it, was that it was emotional. Lots of great praises for Angela Bassett. Lots of great praises for Letitia Wright. Everybody's saying they loved Namor. A lot of people are talking about that it's about one. I remember one person writing and saying, this movie is about grief and darkness and revenge and war. Right. That was the other one. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to the theaters to have ourselves a good time. But no, it's like there was a lot of that, and almost everybody's saying that there was not a dry eye in the house, that there wasn't a dry eye in the place. Now, I also heard from one or two places, and I talked to somebody who was there that said it has some pacing issues, that there are some points in the movie that do feel like it's a little slow. And at 2 hours and 41 minutes, I'm not surprised to hear that. Moments of that is fine. When I see it myself, I'll develop my own opinion about that. But let's go through and read some of those reactions that we got from that thing last night. Clayton Davis wrote, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a beautiful tribute to Chadwick Boseman, visual stunner with Angela Bassett commanding every scene she inhabits. Rihanna's Lift Me Up will do that for many. Another great post-credit scene that genuinely is a jaw-dropper, but I don't know about the Oscars. Now, of course, the first Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. You're saying, I'm not sure if it's a Best Picture contender, but it's great. Brian Davids writes, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is Marvel's most poignant and powerful film to date. It's heavy and dark in the way that it is needed to be, and mostly abandons the studio's trademark hilarious tone. The craft work levels up in every conceivable way, and the performances rise to the occasion, which is good stuff to hear. Charles wrote, Wakanda's Forever's bigger in scope and scale than Black Panther, but its story is also one of Marvel's most intimate and heartfelt. It's definitely a comic book movie, but it's one that centers around grief and the grieving process rather than superheroics and spectacle. Which is kind of really in line with a lot of the stuff that we were hearing. One of the reactions that we read last night was from Lando, who wrote, Wakanda Forever is outstanding. It handles loss, grief, and revenge with a maturity and seriousness rarely seen in the MCU. Black Panther continues to be their crown jewel. Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, and Tena Huerta all bring some of the best acting I've seen all year. Anyway, that goes on and on and on and on. That is basically what we just read in those 4 or 5 reactions is basically what all the reactions were. It was all, it's heavy, it's emotional, it's poignant, it's powerful. It does not have your typical MCU tone, all that kind of stuff, which, going into this movie with the loss of Chadwick Boseman, you knew it was going to be, and a lot of them said this movie is a celebration of Chadwick Boseman as well. The one thing that worries me about the reactions that I've heard coming out of this, and it's only going to be something that affects me, admittedly, which is, you guys know how I feel about Shuri. Shuri is actually one of my top 5 favorite MCU characters. Her and M'Baku are actually 2 of my top 5 favorite MCU characters. I love both of them, but I love them for what they are. And I have been very, very, I'm very clear. I think it is the wrong decision to make Shuri the new Black Panther. Now, but what I'm going to do when I do go to see the movie is I'm going to take that bias And this is what I do all the time. And I'm going to leave it at the door and I'm going to go in and say, hit me with what you got. That's why so often I go, man, that movie looked like crap to me, but I loved it because, you leave your expectations at the door. And from all the praise we hear coming out about Letitia Wright, I'm like, well, that confirms it. She's probably going to be the new Black Panther, although maybe other people wear the costume at the same time. So that's the one thing that worries me a little bit. But Rob, it sounds like the movie is what it needed to be. This needed to be one that was going to help us all collectively, because we really haven't had the chance as fans to let us all collectively grieve together the loss of Chadwick Boseman and hopefully get what, all Ryan Coogler does. Ryan Coogler, he squats down and he craps out great movies. That's just what he does. So to give us a movie that lets us all together collectively grieve the loss of Chadwick Boseman, which we haven't really been able to do yet, and at the same time deliver a really powerful, emotional, exciting film at the same time, it sounds like it checked off those boxes. So I'm going to be very curious to see what happens once the full reviews come out and people are going to be able to get into the pros and the cons, like how the balances all work. But it sounds like everybody had a really good experience. What was your takeaway from all the different reactions we heard? Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, True Classic. This brand new sponsor has the absolute best fitting t-shirts that a man can buy. Finding the right t-shirt with a little bit of a dad bod is incredibly frustrating. Most t-shirts are either way too tight on your gut or look way too big and boxy. You're not in high school anymore, and it's time to upgrade. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men finally get a better fit at an affordable price. And the John Campea Show viewers and listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off using the code CAMPEA at trueclassic.com. Look, you and I both know that almost all of men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs. But let's be honest, that's not most of us. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt that you can always confidently throw on. Like most of you guys, ever since college, I have always struggled to find proper fitting t-shirts that are comfortable. Well, True Classic, from the moment I put on the shirt they sent me, solves it. And True Classic doesn't just stop at tees. From polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit. Upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the promo code CAMPEA. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day refund policy. Stay classy with True Classic. Your dad bod will thank you.
Well, what I wanted was selfishly, I wanted the movie that I wanted to get. Like, give me what I want. And the MCU is not, I didn't get what I wanted with Moon Knight. And I wanted a lot, and I got none of it. I got some of it. Oscar Isaac was okay. But this movie, look, coming on the heels of the first Black Panther and coming on the heels of Civil War, there is a tone, there's an expectation of tone in the film. I don't want the guffaws that we had in Thor, Love and Thunder. I want to return to a serious movie that deals with serious themes within the MCU. And it sounds to me like I'm going to be getting that movie. And we're going to see the emergence of the Talocan and all that. It's right up my alley. It sounds like it's exactly the kind of thing that I love in terms of science fiction, fantasy, and horror, character development. I saw a clip last night. Denai Guerrera, Letitia Wright, and Lupita Nyong'o were on Jimmy on The Tonight Show. They were delightful, and they were wearing different outfits than they were wearing at the premiere because they're right across.
Oh,
the street.
they always do. They always get changed, then go across the street.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But there was a clip that they showed with Lupita Nyong'o. I think it was she was talking to Denai, but about what she did, how after in universe, once Black Panther had passed away, she said, I just had to go because unlike you, he was your king, he was your Black Panther. To me, he was everything. And it was just a quick clip, and I was like, oh. Wow. And I'm like, that's the movie I want. I saw that clip. And then there was another great clip when Shuri and Denai went to see Riri Williams. And it was great. It was fun, but not too over the top. And I love their banter, and I love Riri.
And of course, for those of you who don't know, Riri Williams is the character who is Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. And these clips, and then there's this clip of the new Black Panther fighting. All of this, I'm like, I'm in. Count me in. Your clips did their job.
I was a little disheartened. I mentioned this to you last night. In all the reactions, I didn't hear a single mention of either Lupita Nyong'o, who, you know, is a future ex-Mrs. Campea, and I did not one mention of Winston Duke, who I think should be the new king of Wakanda in M'Baku. I was really scared. Not once out of the 40 or 50 reactions I read, I never saw anybody mention either of them. And that's discouraging to me because I love those two characters so much. I really hope they have a prominent role in this thing too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was just happy to hear how many people love Namor.
Yeah.
You know, because that's been the whole, I've been a real proponent, and I know you have, about the whole idea of relocating, making Namor come from Mayan descent, or I love this idea. And a lot of fans, I've been getting a lot of pushback for months on that. And I'm like, I think when you see it, it's going to be cool. And to hear everybody's response to that it is cool, I'm like, awesome.
Because, you know, we talked about this a little bit last night, that in the midst of the grieving and the celebrating of Chadwick Boseman and all that kind of stuff, you still have to give us a compelling movie.
Yeah.
And it actually makes the Namor character pivotal for this thing working. You've got to have a compelling antagonist. And it sounds like they did it. And I hope they did. Because again, you mentioned it last night. I will say it in complete agreement. When I first got my first look at the little, like the wings on his feet floating him around, I thought, well, that looks like a whole bowl of stupid. But everything I'm hearing, he comes across great. I mean, you can just tell. I just love the power that his presence has on screen. Like even in the trailer, that one shot when he like comes right up to Angela Bassett, it's like this dude carries a power and a regalness about him. And I hope that actually plays through in the movie itself.
I can't wait, dude. I'll tell you one thing. After the responses and after the clips I saw, my expectation and excitement about this movie is through the roof. It's through the roof. Because this was the thing that I was most looking forward to about Phase 4. With the exception, I know people are going, well, Rob, you wanted to see Moon Knight. Yes.
Well, yes.
But that was different. That was a lifelong thing. But in terms of what Phase 4 is, this is my biggest. I have the most expectations for this. And it seems like they will be satisfied.
I'm going to say this too. I think right now, Ryan Coogler may be the best director in the Marvel stable at the moment. I mean, I mean, we've been talking a lot about the possibilities of Secret Wars. Of course, Destin is directing Avengers Kang Dynasty. I don't think he's going to end up directing the second film as well. I still think it's going to end up being Ryan Coogler. And I'm hoping that after we see this movie, they want to get this in the rearview mirror. Maybe they can talk about that. I'm sure they're going to get a great director for Secret Wars either way, but I'm really kind of pulling for Ryan Coogler. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, guys, question is for you. The reactions coming out of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever are all kind of across the board. It's powerful. It's emotional. It's not like the tone of the rest of the MCU. Apparently they've abandoned the regular MCU tone. That's going to be good for some people, not so good for others. I don't know. What do you guys make out of all the reactions we've heard? Where's your anticipation level like for this movie? Whatever those thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.